What's good, YouTube? It's Aquarius Leviathan Prophecy, and you know what, man? I'm getting real sick of people these days. Like, okay, I get it. The Nets, they accumulated a lot of great talent. You know, uh, you know, um, you know, like we all know. Well, I know. I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but I know that Kyrie and KD was supposed to come here allegedly, right? They didn't like ownership. They didn't like how the Knicks was doing business when Patty Mills was here. You know what I'm saying? They let go of him. They let go of Fizdale. They brought in Mike Miller, who did a pretty good job. And then fast forward, you got Tom Thibodeau. You know, they still chose Brooklyn. Brooklyn had a better cap situation, better location. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that. When the Nets was called the New Jersey Nets, they were even trash. I'm not even gonna go there because that organization was just dead. In the water. Um, but we've seen this all before. You know what I'm saying? We've seen super teams overachieved. You know, like the '08 Boston Celtics, they should have two-peated. You know, they should have beaten the Lakers back to back. They should have beat them. They should have beaten them in '08 and in '09. Well, they only won one championship together. One. So that's so. What does that tell you? Now, obviously, y'all gonna say, well, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, they're not on the same level. They were still superstars at that time. A lot of people forget that. You know, like they were superstars. They were superstars at. They were still superstars at the time. You know, Kyrie, KD, James Harden, they were coming of their own. You know what I'm saying? Um, so that notion that, you know, oh, just because you put a whole bunch of talent together, that automatically, that automatically, you know, that automatically, catapults you to the playoffs. You still have to win your games, even though I still think Brooklyn Nets is going to probably finish second. 76ers are probably going to have the number one seed locked up. Nets will probably finish second because of Kyrie and KD playing mind games. Now obviously I know KD's situation. You know what I'm saying, but Kyrie, there's no excuse. You know, if it's not his hamstring 1 minute, it's his finger the next minute. Like, come on. Like, you don't see James Harden missing out games. You don't see James Harden missing games. You know, and that's the thing. We have never seen them all in the court at the same time. I think the only time we've seen them all together was the starting of the NBA season when I think they went up against Golden State Warriors, if I'm not mistaken. But that's the only time we've seen all three of them play together. People automatically think, man, that's water under the bridge. When KD comes back, he'll be himself. He don't need chemistry. This and all right, Heat. Like I can run you down the top super teams who underachieved. You know what I'm saying? The '04 Pistons should have repeated. The 2014 Heat should have repeated. The '08 Lakers, the '08 Celtics, I should say, should have repeated. The '09 Celtics, the '09 Lakers should have repeated. Shaq, they could have four-peated. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of ifs, but that's what happens when you form a super team. You know? Like when everybody had two superstars to each team back in 2010, like 11 years ago, the league was pretty darn entertaining. When you had Derrick Rose and Amari Stoudemire and Carmelo Anthony and the big three in Boston, and you had a young LeBron James, and then you had Dwayne Wade on the Heat. That's when the landscape of the NBA was tilted. Now it's just players are just getting bored playing on one team, so they want to form a super team. And then everybody thinks that, oh, the Brooklyn Nets don't have no championships to show for. They've been god awful since I was in diapers. They've been god awful since Tupac got shot. They've been god awful since Martin Luther King made that famous speech. They've been god awful since Malcolm X has been assassinated. They've been god awful since 9/11. They have not won a championship since the merger of the NBA, which was in 1977. You know what I'm saying? So people just need to get this notion out their head that the Nets are going to win it all. Because not too long ago, who had the best record in the NBA last year? Who was the number one seed last year? The Bucks. They got defeated by who? The fourth seeded Heat. And that's when everybody on that Bucks team was healthy. Giannis was healthy. Middleton was healthy. You know what I'm saying? Brooke Lopez was like, nobody was nursing an injury that I can't remember. But then again, they went up against the underrated Miami Heat team that nobody expected them to even get that far, but they did. So, I mean, I want to listen, man. I want to be shocked if the Nets do lose in the second round, or they can possibly go all the way to the finals and then lose there. It's no shame. It's no shame. Everybody's saying, "Oh, James Harden deserves a championship." The NBA is not going to hand out trophies like that. You have to go out there and earn it. And James Harden has been shown to disappear when the lights are much bigger. That's just him. So, and then chemistry wise, where does Blake Griffin fit? Where does, like, you could put Kyrie at the 1, James Harden at the 2, Kevin Garnett. I mean, I say Kevin Garnett. Uh, K, Kevin Durant. I mean, Durant at the 4, and then you got Blake either coming off the bench, or he's going to start over Harris, or he's going to start off for DeAndre Jordan. I don't know. If I was the Nets, I would put him in the second unit. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to have, all your weapons in the starting lineup. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to have DeAndre Jordan or, Blake Griffin coming off the bench. You still got... So, I mean, I'm not going to go into details, but you know. So, but like I said, man, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they wind up losing in the second round. They didn't make this whole big speech about them winning not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. No, but there's levels to this because when you acquire 3 of the top players in the league, we've seen teams underachieve. Miami Heat should have three-peated. Miami Heat had no business losing to the Mavericks. The Miami Heat had no business losing it to the Spurs. Even though the Spurs was loaded with Timmy, Tony, Manu, and a young, Kawhi Leonard, I could have possibly seen Miami Heat losing at least one of those games. Because obviously they did meet up again for the second time, but obviously Miami Heat won the second one. The Spurs won the first one. Like, Miami Heat had no business losing to the Mavericks. But obviously they wanted Dirk Nowitzki to win a championship because of what happened in '06. Yeah, I remember when Dwayne Wade went off in that game. And then, a lot of people were saying that, oh, that game was rigged. A lot of calls was called on Dwayne Wade. You know what I'm saying? Like he went to the free throw line like 9 times in that game. We got like 35 points and stuff like that. But, I mean, it is what it is. But, Jerry Stackhouse was out that game too. So, I mean, that's another questionable, call, you know. But but yeah, man, like they're not making this big speech, and then plus you got the mastermind of it all, you know. Like you got Steve Nash, who has zero experience in the playoffs, zero, not in the playoffs. He has zero experience coaching, I should say, you know. But that doesn't matter because look how Steve Kerr turned around that Golden State franchise. He didn't start right away. Steve Kerr did not start right away. Mark Jackson got fired, and then Steve Jackson was the interim head coach. And then he took over, and then the rest was history. Like they should have repeated too. That Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant, they should have repeated. They had no business losing to the damn Cavaliers. But the Cavaliers, just like the Heat, just like the Nets, they haven't won a championship in almost 40 years. 40-year drought. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to take, like I said, man, talent, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't beat hard work. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what that's what my coach installed in me, when I used to play basketball, like hard work. Hard work always beats talent. All day. Because when you work when you work 10 times as hard as the other person, oh, they don't need to. They don't need to. They think that they're too pretty. They think that they're too, this and that. And what's that gonna result to? Other teams is gonna say, "Oh, you that confident, you that cocky." Okay, watch this, and then some random eighth seed team wind up beating or knocking off the Nets, and then everybody's gonna go into social media, start spamming and memeing the damn Nets like, like you expected this, like it's either win championships or we gonna label you as a bust, as one of the biggest bust teams or superstar bust teams of all time. You know what I'm saying? And there have been a lot of super teams that have not fared well. You know what I'm saying? Like Scottie Pippen and Charles Barkley in Oakley, that was a total disaster. Now clearly everybody can see that they was past their prime. You know what I'm saying? Or, when they tried it with the Lakers with, Dwight Howard and Steve Nash and Kobe Bryant, that was a total disaster too. So there have been a lot of big super busts, but a lot of people want to forget about it because we're talking about the damn Brooklyn Nets who haven't won crap in a while, y'all could clown on my Knicks and saying that, well, the Knicks have no title. Well, actually, the Knicks have two. They won it in 1970 and 1972. Even though they're old rings, it doesn't matter. You win championships in your era. You know what I'm saying? Like like the Pistons. When is the last time the Pistons has been relevant? Not so much. Like nobody expected the Pistons. Like to be honest with you, nobody expected the Pistons to beat the Lakers. That game went to 7 games. 7. Why did that Pistons beat the Lakers team? You had a very good defensive unit in Tayshaun Prince and Ben Wallace and Rashid. That Pistons team was loaded stupid. They didn't even have a damn superstar, to be honest with you. And they still managed to beat the Lakers. A lot of people forget about that series. You know what I'm saying? The Sacramento Kings, they were pretty good too. But you know what? Questionable calls. Going to Lakers' favor. A lot of people thought, C. Webb and Mike Bibby and all them and Stojakovic got bailed out, or they felt like they got sabotaged, which I actually saw the whole entire series because I literally watched every single NBA Finals through 2000 all the way to 2017. You know what I'm saying? So I witnessed all that firsthand. You know what I'm saying? So I know how they felt. I know how Chris Webber felt. You know, and Chris Webber was pretty good of his own too. So I mean, just don't give me that bull crap that, oh, Kyrie don't need to play with KD. They've been playing without KD. Yeah, but like when he comes back, like the chemistry is gonna be way different. Cause Blake never played with KD. KD never played with Blake. Blake never played with James Harden. James Harden never played with Kyrie. So chemistry wise, I would understand. So all I'm saying is that the Nets are not gonna win it this year. Because I still believe they have to get the chemistry down, and obviously, basketball games will resume. I think around Thursday, or Wednesday, but the second half. I mean, that's still not going to be. I mean, that may be enough to gel together, but knowing the Nets and their history, how god off they have been trying to perform, trying to, and it's not the first time the Nets have been trying to form super teams, because they did that in the past and it didn't work. They did that multiple times and it didn't work. Maybe they didn't have the superstars to do it at the time, but what makes this different? You know, like what makes this different? I'm not bashing on them because I am a Knicks fan. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate everything Nets. I hate their fan base. I hate their colors. I just hate them. Period. You know. And I'm from New York, so actually I'm from Brooklyn. So like why did I pick the Knicks? I picked the Knicks because they were the only team in New York at the time. Duh. So, uh, I mean, I lived in New Jersey for like 2 years. New Jersey is not really a bad place to live. It really isn't, you know. But their team was just god awful. Like the ticket sales was just at its low premium. That's why they had to move, you know. Because if there's no money coming in, if you're not generating any revenue, that's not gonna sell right, you know. So they moved to Brooklyn knowing that, saying that maybe if we move to a different location, we can, rejuvenate this team, which they did. They had a capacity over 80,000 people, you know, when the new Barclays Center opened back in 2010, 11 years ago. So, I mean, they just had so much super teams, I mean, the Nets are like a team that tries so hard to do stuff or tries so hard to do things the right way that it is always backing fire. It is always, you know, it always lands bad for them, you know? Like they never want to develop a star. And if they do develop a star, they quickly to ship them off to like another team for injury prone player. I mean, like say what you want about Kevin Durant. He's injured right now. Kyrie, he's in and out the lineup. James Harden is the only consistent one out there. So like what does that tell you? It's chemistry issues. Cause why would your three top players or your two top best players be out every single game? Like I said, I understand Kevin Durant's situation, but Kyrie, like I said, man, there's no excuse for Kyrie. Kyrie should be playing every single game now because last year he didn't even play. Last year he played up until like around, the All-Star game, and then he just sat out the whole entire series, the whole entire game, because KD obviously wasn't there and James Harden was still with the Rockets. So now that he has Kyrie, now that he has James Harden and Blake Griffin, he's still gonna sit like he sat out the last game before the All-Star break. Like Like Kyrie is not a leader. Kyrie is not a leader. He's just not. He just comes off as a goofball, you know? And you from there, Kyrie. You should know better than anybody. But again, he has a mind of his own. He'll do what he wants, whatever he wants. And I'm glad they didn't come here. You know? Like, I'm not bitter. I'm not sad. Because I know in the long run, this is all going to wash up in their faces. Because if they don't win it this year, it's 10 times pressure. It's 10 times the more. I mean, it's 10 times the pressure next year to win it. Because now they have to win it now. They have to win it now. Because if they don't win it next year, it's going to be way much worse. Way much worse. Teams are going to get better. Defensively, offensively. You're going to have free agents. You're going to have the draft. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to have a lot of moving pieces next year. And yeah. Or they might say Kevin. Because remember, back when they came to the Brooklyn Nets, they each signed a 4-year deal, right? Both through the player's option. So that means that if they don't like what they see, they can opt out. They can say, "Yeah, I'm out this team. I'm gonna decline my player's option and go somewhere else." You know, and then they're gonna figure out where to go next. You know what I'm saying? Or they can give it another try, saying, "You know what? Last year was just too crazy. Chemistry issues was the problem. This and that. A lot of people in and out the lineup. They might give it a second go." Now, after next year, if they've stupid fly. Hold on, y'all. Gotta get this fly out my room. But anyways, man. But yeah, man. So if they don't get it this year, they're gonna have to get it next year, cause you don't know if Kyrie or KD is gonna be back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know if KD is gonna be back. James Harden is gonna be there because of his contract. Nobody's gonna want to take that contract. You know what I'm saying? Blake Griffin, I think, also is gonna be there next year because of his buyout. But they got to get it together, you know? And I don't care if they win a championship or not, because I know deep down, knowing the Nets like I know them, they're the same old Nets. They're the same old Nets. They had D'Lo, you know? Like, they made the playoffs with D'Lo and then they traded him. Like, how is that even remotely fair, you know? And D'Lo was very young. D'Lo was about, like, what, 24, 25 years old? That dude was mad young. That dude was mad young, kid. Like, for real. Like, to just, make the playoffs that year and then trade him. That's why I said that the Nets don't believe in grooming stars. Or they don't believe in grooming rookies. They don't believe in all that because their window is very, very short. It's either hit or miss, hit or miss, hit or miss. When they had Jason Kidd, Killian Martin, Vince Young, they were still players. They were still the stars of that era. Way before everybody knew KD. KD was a 21-year-old. No, hold on, no. No, yeah. KD was still in college. My bad. I had to correct myself. KD was still in college when Vince Young, Kenyon Martin, and Jason Kidd was in their prime. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't get it done. Fast forward, okay, they had the big three, Terry Crews, not Terry Crews, Terry. They had, KG. They had Paul Pierce. Got to the second round. Again, they were still great players at their own right. People say, I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying they were still great players in their own right. People might People think that they was washed up or something like that when they left Boston. They were still great players. They still put up points, not like they used to, but they knew how to, still play the game. They got to the second round, lost to the Miami Heat. I think Miami Heat swept them in 2014. Okay? You go back even further when they had the big four out of Darren Williams, Joe Johnson, Brook Lopez. They still couldn't get past the Chicago Bulls. No, actually, yeah, they got past the Chicago Bulls because the Knicks made the playoffs as well. We didn't get the chance to face them, but obviously, at least we won. No. Yeah, no, hold on. It was the Chicago Bulls and the Heat, and then it was the Brooklyn Nets and Hawks, and then there was the Knicks and the Boston Celtics. Okay, so yeah, I was right. I was wrong at first, but yeah. But, they ran into the Heat. The Heat swept them. They didn't even win one game. And then now we fast forward. No, we go back forward. And then they had D'Lo. D'Lo wanted another big man. He wanted to bring Cat. The Timberwolves wasn't buying it. They still made the playoffs. Way before this whole pandemic even started. They still made the playoffs. He got traded year after that, and then here we are right now. So the Nets have a track record of bad investments on super teams that never pans out. Now I still think it's gonna be even worse, because a lot of people saying, "Oh, the Brooklyn Nets are gonna do this. The Brooklyn Nets are gonna do that." When I get it, my Knicks are terrible right now. Not really. If they can get it together in the second half, we got the Milwaukee Bucks coming up. I remember we blew them out not too long ago. So they might probably be looking for their revenge. As good as Giannis is playing, I don't know about that game. So that game is going to be a little wishy-washy. But if you, hold on, I wrote down hold on, if I can, I wrote down the, I wrote, I wrote down hold on, I wrote down the Nets schedule. Okay, so here it goes. Here goes the Nets schedule, right? They beat the Rockets, right? They face the Nets. They face the Pistons. They on the road 3 times. They on the road against the, yeah, so they on the road, so they at home 3 straight games. They at home against the Knicks, at home against the Pistons, at home against the Celtics. And then they at the Pacers, at the Magic, at home against the Wizards, and at the Blazers. So if you look at these teams, okay, Celtics, I can see them losing there. Pistons, I can see them winning there. The Knicks are gonna beat them. Probably tie the series up. The Pacers are playing very great. Magic, they're playing very great. I can see them losing against the Wizards, and I can see them winning against the Wizards, and I can see them losing against the Blazers. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, out of 8 games, I can see them losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can see them. I can see them losing 5 games. So, and then you have the Bucks at the Grizzlies at home. No. The Bucks versus the Knicks. The Bucks at the Wizards twice. So that, like, the Bucks can win all 4 of their games. Because I don't see the Bucks losing to the Washington Wizards twice. I think the Bucks are gonna get their revenge after that blowout game against the Knicks, and I can see the Bucks winning against the Grizzlies. So who has a better path right now, the Nets or the Bucks? You let me know. So, like, I don't want to be, the bad guy, but I just can't stand the Nets, man. The Nets just get on my nerves, But you know what? It's great competition. You know what I'm saying? Because trust me, when KD and Kyrie leaves, you're still gonna have James Harden because he's still on the contract, and you're still gonna have Blake Griffin. But for right now, they're not gonna win it. I'm sorry, they're not gonna win it. Because I've seen this too many times. So I'm tired of talking. When it happens, don't say I didn't tell you so. Everybody that's watching this. When this goes down, when the Nets get eliminated, whether it's in the first round, second round, semifinals, it doesn't really matter. If they lose, don't blame it on chemistry. Don't blame it on Kevin Durant's injury. Don't blame it on, well, they were out of the lineup a lot. Don't blame it on none of that, because y'all strictly said that, oh, this is a championship team. This is a championship team. This was a championship team. They have to play like champions, which they haven't really, because they never won a championship since the merger of basketball. And I know Kyrie and KD want to, rejuvenate, the Brooklyn Nets. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want to show the world that they can win it somewhere else and not coattail or not be bandwagons to other teams. You know what I'm saying? Like Kyrie. Kyrie didn't win the championship until LeBron James got there, or came back, I should say. Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant took eight. Kevin Durant took 7 years. No. Kevin Durant put up with 7 years with Russell Westbrook. A lot of people were saying, well, who's the problem? What's the problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, we gave them a pass when they were babies. You know what I'm saying? When they were like 21-year-olds. Fast forward. What's the problem? Why can't Russell Westbrook and and Kevin Durant coexist? Kevin Durant left, went to the Golden State Warriors. Everybody got pissed off. Old heads got pissed off. You know what I'm saying? James Harden, he's been the loyal one there. He's been the loyalest person there, because he's been with the Rockets ever since he left OKC. You know what I'm saying? Even though he got a lot of coaches fired, and he was a spoiled baby that wanted everything his way. They gave him Ken Capella, he left. They gave him Dwight Howard, he left. They gave him CP3, he left. They gave him Carmelo Anthony. So, I mean, whose fault was it? Was it the front office, or was it just James Harden's stubbornness? Not willing to accept a bigger role. You know what I'm saying? But everybody have their own path in life, and I don't like James Harden. I don't dislike KD. I don't dislike Kyrie Irving. I just hate that the situation that they're in. Because nobody knows the Nets team like I do. Like, I used to watch a lot of Nets team on Channel 9. When they had that one channel on that one TV, where you watch Jerry Springer, Star Trek, Monday Night Raw. You know what I'm saying? Or Raw is War. You know what I'm saying? And then and you have like cartoons on Saturdays and stuff, and then you have movies on Sundays. You had that one channel that had just had one television on it. You know what I'm saying? So don't tell me like I literally have to go to downtown just to watch the Knicks game, or I might go to my cousin's house or my friend's house to watch the Knicks game. Cause every single time it was the Nets, it was the New Jersey Nets, it was the New Jersey Nets. The only time I would see my Knicks if it's prime time, if it's Saturday or Sunday prime time. That's the only time. Or Christmas, around Christmas, they used to throw a lot of Knicks games on Christmas. But after that, it was just Nets every single day, every single day. Now I was just sick and tired of it, So don't tell me I don't know the Nets. I know the Nets. To this day, I still know the Nets. The Nets are not going to win the championship. They fooling y'all. And, as sheeps as y'all are, y'all going to follow the trail. Y'all going to get on the Nets bandwagon, like bandwagon fans y'all are, and say, well, you're going to blame it on something. If it's not the players, it's going to be the coach. And you're not going to blame Steve Nash because this is just his first rodeo show. So you can't really necessarily blame Steve Nash. If he was going into his third year and y'all still had the same issues, okay. But this is his first year. You can't. No, it's not the coach. Gonna be the players? Maybe. Because as great as they are on paper, it doesn't translate to winning. They're in and out the lineup too much. Like Blake Griffin lost a lot of games. Not lost, but he missed a lot of games. Kyrie Irving is always in and out the lineup. KD, we all know his situation. He may probably be back, before the after the All-Star break. So the only consistent one there was James Harden, because I don't think James Harden has ever missed a game since he got there. He's the most durable one there. Him and Joe Harris. So it's gonna bite them in the ass sooner or later. So, whatever it is, man, I'm just gonna sit back, chillax, and just wait. Just like Stephen A. Smith used to clown on the Cowboys, just relax. Just relax. What can go wrong will go wrong. Just like the Dallas Cowboys. An accident waited and happened. So, yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, man, take care of yourself and each other.